Imagine standing perfectly still just for 10 seconds. No distractions, no leaning, no swaying, simply your body in quiet equilibrium. It seems effortless, almost trivial. Yet, for many adults, this simple act reveals hidden truths about the body we inhabit every day. Truths that often go unnoticed until imbalance forces us to notice. The human body is a marvel of coordination, a delicate orchestra of muscles, nerves, and senses that work in harmony to keep us upright. Even a brief wobble during a 10-second test tells a story of how these systems are faring, a story that science can decode with remarkable precision. Our first reflection lies in the intricate communication between the brain and the body, a network so sophisticated that it often goes unnoticed until it falters. Every movement we make, even the seemingly simple act of standing still, is the product of countless signals traveling back and forth at incredible speeds. Tiny sensors in the muscles, joints, and skin relay information about position and pressure, while the inner ear, with its semicircular canals, monitors orientation in space, detecting even the slightest tilt or sway. The eyes, too, play a critical role, providing a visual reference that helps the brain judge balance relative to the environment. All of these inputs converge in the brainstem and cerebellum, regions that specialize in coordination, timing, and automatic adjustments, allowing the body to maintain equilibrium without conscious thought. When we attempt to stand perfectly still for 10 seconds, this invisible orchestra is at work, performing minute corrections with each passing millisecond. A subtle shift in weight, a micro adjustment in the ankle, a slight contraction in the core muscles, these small actions are the result of a seamless dialogue between sensation and motor response. In many adults, particularly those over 60, this dialogue begins to slow or misfire, not because of a single failure, but due to gradual changes in nerve conduction, decreased sensory acuity, or subtle muscular weakness. The wobble that appears during a balance test is a manifestation of these cumulative changes, a signal that the body's finely tuned communication network is experiencing strain. What is remarkable is that these adjustments are mostly invisible in daily life. We rarely notice how much our body is working to keep us upright until we are forced to confront it, whether through a balance exercise, a slippery surface, or a sudden trip. Science has shown that the brain constantly prioritizes stability, integrating information from multiple sources to predict and correct shifts before they become falls. This predictive capacity is part of what makes humans so resilient, yet it also underscores the fragility of the system. When one component falters, say a slight decline in proprioception, the sense of where our limbs are in space, the entire network must compensate, and the results can be surprisingly evident even in a brief 10-second test. This complex conversation between body and brain reflects the dynamic nature of human physiology, where every sensation, every muscle contraction, and every neural signal contributes to the balance we often take for granted. Next, consider the role of muscle strength and flexibility, the quiet foundation upon which balance is built. The human body, though capable of astonishing feats, relies on a delicate interplay of muscle groups to remain upright and steady. The legs, with their complex network of muscles around the thighs, calves, and feet, act as primary stabilizers, constantly adjusting to shifts in weight and terrain. The core, comprising the abdominal muscles, lower back, and deep stabilizing fibers, functions as the central axis, transmitting force and maintaining alignment between the upper and lower body. Even the smallest imbalance in these areas can ripple outward, challenging stability in ways that are often imperceptible until we attempt something as deceptively simple as standing still. Flexibility plays an equally critical role, allowing joints to move through their full range without restriction. Tightness in the hips or hamstrings, stiffness in the ankles, or rigidity in the spine can all compromise the body's ability to adapt to micro movements, forcing other muscles to overcompensate. Over time, these compensations can become habitual, subtly altering posture, gait, and the ability to respond to sudden changes in balance. Scientific studies have shown that individuals with both reduced strength and limited flexibility are more likely to struggle with static balance, as the body's capacity to self-correct diminishes with each small limitation. What is striking is how interconnected these systems are. Strength alone cannot fully protect against imbalance if flexibility is lacking, and flexibility without strength leaves the body vulnerable to collapse under stress. Together, they form a dynamic partnership that supports both movement and stillness, allowing the body to maintain equilibrium even when external forces are unpredictable. Exercises that target both elements, gentle stretching, resistance training, and functional movement patterns, demonstrate measurable improvements in balance, highlighting the adaptability of the musculoskeletal system. Even in daily life, these elements are constantly engaged. Every step, every reach, every minor shift in posture relies on a conversation between strength and flexibility, a dialogue that occurs beneath our awareness yet profoundly influences stability. When this dialogue weakens, the body signals its limitations, sometimes subtly, sometimes abruptly. The simple act of standing still for 10 seconds, often taken for granted, becomes a revealing measure, a glimpse into how well the muscles and joints are performing their silent, continuous work. Equally fascinating is the interplay between balance and age, a relationship that unfolds quietly over the decades, often unnoticed until small challenges reveal their presence. As we grow older, the body's capacity to correct itself diminishes gradually, influenced by changes in the nervous system, musculoskeletal strength, and sensory perception. Nerve conduction slows, the responsiveness of the vestibular system in the inner ear declines, and the tiny receptors in our muscles and joints, responsible for detecting position and movement, become less sensitive. These subtle shifts may not affect daily movement at first, but they accumulate, making even brief moments of stillness more precarious. The decline is not abrupt. It is an almost imperceptible erosion of the finely tuned systems that have allowed humans to move, balance, and adapt throughout life. In youth, a sudden misstep can often be corrected instinctively, a near fall averted by a rapid coordination of brain, muscles, and senses. With age, those reflexive responses slow, and the margin for error narrows. A wobble that might have been corrected effortlessly in early adulthood can become a warning, a signal that the body's internal adjustments are no longer as precise or as immediate as they once were. This does not imply inevitable frailty, but rather highlights the importance of understanding the mechanisms behind balance, of recognizing that the human body is both resilient and delicately balanced. Scientific studies have repeatedly shown that age-related decline in balance is not uniform. Some individuals maintain remarkable stability well into advanced years, often due to consistent physical activity, mindful movement, and engagement in exercises that challenge strength, coordination, and flexibility. Others experience subtle but measurable deterioration even in their 50s or 60s, often without realizing the risk. What is compelling is that the body itself provides clues long before serious incidents occur. A slight sway, a hesitation in posture, a small unsteadiness when standing for a few seconds. These signals are not failures, they are communication from the body, reminders that the systems maintaining equilibrium require attention, care, and intentional engagement. The interplay between balance and age also reflects a deeper truth about human biology. It is adaptive, resilient, and responsive, but never static. The very fact that a simple 10-second balance test can reveal so much speaks to the intricate and ongoing conversation between body and brain, a conversation that continues throughout life, adjusting to every experience, every movement, and every challenge. The fourth insight emerges from awareness itself. Standing still invites mindfulness, a subtle attentiveness to the body that many of us rarely experience in the rush of daily life. When we pause and attempt to remain upright, we become acutely conscious of sensations that usually operate below the threshold of perception: the gentle tremor of a calf muscle, the faint sway of the torso, the shifting pressure beneath the arches of our feet. This heightened awareness transforms a simple balance test into a moment of introspection, revealing the complexity of the human body and the continuous, often invisible effort required to maintain stability. The act of noticing becomes an act of learning, as each micro-movement communicates information about strength, coordination, and the responsiveness of the nervous system. Mindfulness in this context is not merely a mental exercise. It is a bridge connecting the mind to the body, amplifying our ability to sense imbalances and respond consciously. Scientific research increasingly highlights the role of awareness in enhancing motor control, suggesting that individuals who cultivate attentiveness to their posture and movements can strengthen the neurological pathways that support balance. By observing subtle shifts and responding deliberately, the brain reinforces its connection to the muscles and sensory systems, creating a feedback loop that improves stability over time. Even brief moments of mindful standing can engage these pathways, encouraging the body to recalibrate and fine-tune the tiny adjustments that sustain equilibrium. There is also a philosophical dimension to this awareness. In standing still, we confront the vulnerability and impermanence of our physical form, recognizing that balance is not guaranteed but achieved moment by moment. It invites a quiet respect for the body's capabilities and limitations, a compassionate acknowledgement that small imperfections are part of the intricate system that allows movement, exploration, and life itself. Mindfulness, then, becomes both a tool and a perspective, offering insight into the delicate interplay of muscles, joints, nerves, and the mind's role in orchestrating stability. Moreover, cultivating this awareness encourages intentional practices that extend beyond the balance test itself. Gentle exercises, stretching routines, and posture work are all amplified by the conscious attention we bring to movement. Over time, this mindful approach enhances proprioception, improves coordination, and fosters a deeper understanding of how our body functions. In this way, standing still is not simply a physical challenge but a form of dialogue, a continuous conversation between sensation, thought, and action that nurtures both physical stability and the reflective capacity to understand and care for the human body. Finally, we glimpse the broader lesson that health is relational, a truth that extends far beyond the simple metrics of strength, flexibility, or balance. The body does not exist in isolation. It is a network of interconnected systems, each influencing the other in subtle and profound ways. Balance, often thought of as a singular skill, is in reality a reflection of this interdependence. Muscles, nerves, the vestibular system, vision, and even cognition must work in harmony to maintain stability. When one element falters, others must compensate, revealing how intricately woven our physiological systems are. The 10-second test, deceptively simple, becomes a window into this dynamic interplay, showing us that the body's capacity to remain upright depends not only on isolated components, but on their continuous and delicate cooperation. Health, in this relational sense, is also shaped by lifestyle, environment, and daily choices. Nutrition, sleep, mental focus, and physical activity all feed into the body's ability to respond to minor perturbations, each factor influencing the systems that govern balance. Poor nutrition may weaken muscles, insufficient sleep can slow reflexes, and stress may impair coordination. Conversely, attentive care to these elements strengthens the body's integrated network, enhancing the capacity to adapt, respond, and maintain equilibrium even in the face of small challenges. Scientific research increasingly demonstrates that interventions targeting multiple aspects of health simultaneously, combining physical activity, cognitive engagement, and mindful awareness, produce far greater improvements in balance and stability than isolated exercises alone. The relational nature of health also invites a broader, almost philosophical reflection. The body mirrors the quality of attention we give it. Every choice, from a short walk to a balanced meal, reinforces or diminishes the delicate harmony that supports daily function. Balance, therefore, is both literal and metaphorical, reminding us that the human organism thrives not through isolated effort but through integrated care and sustained awareness. In this sense, a wobble during a 10-second test is not simply a physical signal, it is a conversation starter, a prompt to examine how our choices, habits, and attentiveness converge to shape our overall well-being. In observing and honoring these connections, we begin to see health as more than a personal metric. It is a dynamic system, relational and responsive, shaped by the interplay of mind, body, and behavior. Every movement, every pause, every small adjustment is part of a continuous dialogue, a demonstration of the astonishing complexity that underlies seemingly simple acts. The human body, in its ability to stand, sway, correct, and recover, becomes a living testament to the profound interdependence of its systems and the care required to sustain them. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more simple health tips, don't forget to like, share with your friends, and subscribe. Stay with us and keep your health strong and balanced.